I wanted to create this particular lesson in this training series, not necessarily to teach you to do something, but to really advise you against doing something. What I'm talking about is manually trying to clean your website. This can be really tempting to do if your website gets hacked, because you may not want to go through the trouble of wiping out your entire website and restoring it all from backups. Well, you might feel like if you can identify the files that have been maliciously placed on your site, then if you could just simply delete them, then you might not have to restore everything. Now, to a certain extent, that is actually true. If you could remove every single thing that the person put on your website, your site would be clean then, as long as you would be able to lock them out of however they were accessing your site after that point. However, the average website owner will end up missing some of the files. They've gone through a lot of effort to ensure that they are able to infect you and keep you infected in a lot of these cases. So I do highly recommend to go after using your backups instead. Wipe out your whole site and restore it from backup. However, with that said, I thought I would still point out a number of the things that you may commonly find from a hacked WordPress website. To start out with, some web hosts will provide a virus scanner option in the control panel. So you could scan your entire home directory or the public web space. If you do have something like this, it's certainly okay to use it. Scan your entire home directory just to make sure there's absolutely nothing there. For the case of this training, I'm just going to do the public web space because this will go much faster because there are far fewer files there to be searching. So as you can see, it says that there are no viruses found. I can actually guarantee that that is incorrect though, because I have purposefully left some infected files on this site that was hacked. In particular, these 5 files right here do not belong. If you look at a clean installation of WordPress and compare the files that are there to the files that are present on a site you suspect to be hacked, you can sometimes pick out the files that don't belong. Or if you're just simply familiar with the files that are supposed to be there, you'll notice that certain things simply shouldn't be there. But sometimes they will try to name these files to slip you up. For example, there is a wp-cron.php file. This file was uploaded by a hacker as cron.php. I've renamed all of them simply to prevent them from being able to access them anymore because they won't know the file names any longer. However, they are most certainly still files that contain malicious code. Now, as you can see here, this has something to do with login information, at least this particular file. Sometimes you'll see that the files are encrypted. So it may not be a technical virus that those virus scanners that I was just showing you before, it may not be something that they can pick up. It may be some kind of a backdoor into WordPress instead, and that might not technically be considered a virus. So it is important to understand that distinction in that these virus scanners will not pick up everything for you. And in fact, a lot of the things that target WordPress, it will specifically not be able to find those types of malicious files. So that is one particular reason why you would want to avoid trying to manually clean the website yourself. If you could find the files that were infected though, you could simply delete them, skip moving them to the trash, and just simply delete those files altogether. Beyond the files that are uploaded to your website that were not there before, there are other ways that somebody can hack your site and put malicious content in there. One of the things that they can do is to modify the default WordPress files. Some of the most common things that I have seen done is this .htaccess file might get modified, and also this index.php file might get modified. However, this can certainly extend far beyond these two particular files. So you still can't use this as a surefire way of knowing whether your website is cleaned, because they could have easily gone into any other file throughout the entire WordPress website and simply added a little chunk of code to it that would then allow them to have access to the site or to download malicious files at will, or whatever it was they were trying to accomplish by hacking your website. They may even go as far as to get into your plugins and your themes and your uploaded files and actually add files there, or even edit existing files that are in those locations to change them too. So once again, this is yet another reason why I highly recommend against doing manual file cleaning. If for some reason you do not have a backup of all the files that are on your website, what I would recommend to do is to refer to the clean installation training lesson that I am providing for you guys. This is going to teach you how to go about wiping out all of these files that are currently present on your website, doing a clean installation, and even using your existing database content. Now there is a possibility that something could be infecting your database content as well. So I would highly recommend again for keeping a up-to-date database backup. If nothing else, that's going to be your most important thing to have. But you can sometimes get around not having a backup of the actual files on your website. But there are certainly exceptions to that rule. Any customizations that may be taking place, such as any files that you have uploaded through the media manager in WordPress, that kind of stuff would be gone if you don't have a backup of this uploads directory. Other things such as plugins or themes, most of them write and save information to your database, but there are some exceptions to that. Sometimes they will save stuff to the actual website in a file. It might be within the folder for it. It sometimes is within this entire WP content folder. This file and this file, for example, were created by plugins that were installed on this site. This cache folder was created by a plugin, and this is updated by these plugins too. So always consider what you have running on your website, and that can help to lead you to whether or not doing a manual cleaning is even a possibility, and also whether or not having a backup of the files of your website is going to be of dire importance to be able to restore your content or not. The moral of this entire lesson, though, is, once again, at all costs, unless you just have no other options possible, avoid manually trying to clean your website, because chances are you will simply end up missing something along the way.